Alright guys, Tactical Rabbit back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with the dust settling from the CDL Kickoff Classic, a very interesting question which has been raised was going into the weekend there were three teams that I considered S tier in my power rankings. That was the Dallas Empire, Optic Chicago and Atlanta FaZe. But looking back on the weekend, Dallas and Optic smoked through their match, but Atlanta FaZe had a very difficult time losing their series to the Florida Mutineers. What exactly is going on, given on paper this team was so deadly? We talked so much in the preseason about how much of an upgrade this is, and on paper, Atlanta FaZe looking potentially the deadliest team in the entire game. When will that exactly happen? Will it even happen this season? Intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, a couple of interesting things to mention. This came out from the COD League yesterday. That weekend was fun, but what do we have in store for them next? So adding all of the COD League teams right here, and some of the replies are pretty interesting. We get replies from pretty much all the guys, and well, the Subliners, Royal Ravens for example, and then Atlanta FaZe say 3rd of February, imagine this is. Minnesota Rocket talking about the 1st of February, Toronto Ultra and Seattle Surge talking about the 4th of February. Not exactly sure what's going on here. Crone had a couple of ideas which it may be about some sort of, well, team jerseys, or it could be potentially camos and skins in the game or something to that effect. As Crone says, some types of announcements during the week of February the 1st, February the 4th, very exciting indeed. Express is going to be dropping into the game. Judging from Gorilla's reply, could be merch, jerseys, or dare I say CDL skins. So that would be really cool if they came this time of year. Of course, the CDL jerseys, like the merchandise, has to come at some point before the league starts, you would imagine. And well, also CDL skins. We haven't really got them in the game too early for a number of years. Seems like they're definitely ahead of the curve this time around with the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War season for CDL 2021, so maybe relatively soon. Something certainly to keep your eyes out for. Also to mention this from Fwiz, of course, over at the YouTube gaming side now, 2021 will be a great year, kicking off with account linking. We talked about this yesterday, but starting from Wednesday, that being tomorrow, you can link your account and you'll get some sort of unlock, say calling cards, emblems, weapon charms, boosts, this type of stuff in terms of XP. What I would love to see here is some sort of camo, right? If you chucked a camo in the game, I know that certainly people would tune in for this type of stuff, but if there was like a camo that you got just from watching the CDL, for a certain period of time, where there were certain levels of camos depending on how much you watched, I mean, that would be like incredibly, well, I think that would be incredibly impactful on the viewership, but certainly this is a massive step in the right direction. I'm really happy to see the CDL finally implement this for events that aren't just the World Championship as we saw last year, and also a good step on the YouTube gaming side, proving that this partnership can definitely bear some fruit. So, this previous weekend, there were some questions from Breaking Point DG here. Who's your MVP for the Kickoff Classic? Was it Dashi? Was it Shotzi? Was it even a guy like Neptune? Aqua, for example, was a fantastic name over there at the Paris Legion, putting up massive numbers. But the names you won't be seeing on this list were some of the players from the Atlanta FaZe, the Simps of the world, the Abizis, Celium, Arcites. What a team that was on paper. I remember a couple of months ago, Octane did a video talking about his dream team on paper. He was like, okay, yeah, I'd have myself as the main AR, the two SMGs, I'd have Simp and Abizi, no question about that. The two best SMGs in the game, the Tiny Terrors, have just been wrecking things for a couple of years now, winning the World Championship, of course, on E United in Black Ops 4, and then coming the runners-up last year on the Modern Warfare season on that Atlanta FaZe team with Priesta and Major Maniac as it was at the time. Swapping those two guys out now for Arcites into the team, and as Octane finished off his video, he was like, okay, I'll have those two guys as my SMGs, I'm the main AR, and then I need a flex. Who do I get as a flex? Maybe Celium, maybe even Arcites he mentioned as a potential flex, because he did it on the Chicago Huntsman last season to relatively decent effect. This time around, though, FaZe have decided, look, Arcites wants to play a main AR, that's the role he prefers, we'll get him into the team. A teammate that won the World Championship with E United, with Simp and Abizi in Black Ops 4, and a kind of leadership figure that can take this team to the next level, maybe what they were lacking in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So on paper, a lot of people looked to this team and said, look, this team is absolutely straight up nasty, how can we improve on this? Octane was basically choosing those four players as his four all-stars that you would put on a team together, and well, a lot of people saying in the preseason, Atlanta FaZe are just going to crush it, right? They're going to step up significantly on their level from the Modern Warfare season, and I certainly still expect them to be very good. I mean, this team, no question about it, they've got an unbelievable array of, well, talent on this squad, but it must be said, this time last year, Atlanta FaZe were pretty good at the start of the season. We were talking about, okay, Dallas Empire, maybe not so good in this LAN environment, but it was Chicago versus Atlanta. That was the big discussion at the start of the season. Who's the best team in the game? A lot of people are actually saying it was probably Atlanta. So this time last year, that team was already considered one of the top. This time, though, we're looking at them maybe third fiddle. Who even really knows, right? With Rocket potentially looking good, with Florida Mutineers beating them in these series. Where exactly do Atlanta FaZe sit right now? So as you can see right here, up against the Mutineers, this was on Crossroads Hardpoint. This is not a scoreline that you would expect to maybe happen to one of the other top teams, right? The Dallases, the Chicagos of the world. A squad like Atlanta FaZe losing 250 to 117, it can happen on Crossroads with the way the hill rotations work. work, but still not something which really I think we expected coming into the weekend. And as you can see right here, these were the statistics for the course of the series. I mean, Ecclesiastes, Selim and Sib all having pretty much just a 1 KD, nothing particularly special going on here. Not really what you would expect maybe from this lineup, especially when you compare these results right here to the results from the other guys, right? You look at the Dallas Empire, 1.15, 1.13, 1.32, 1.31, and well, exactly the same thing for the Optic Chicago, right? Pretty much the same storyline over here. So you've got Optic Chicago, you've got Dallas Empire 3-0ing their series without too much issue, as you can see right here, and then you've got Atlanta FaZe going game 5. Those were the big 3 teams we talked about in advance of the season, and okay, look, it's a launch weekend, it doesn't matter too much. This is just a show match, it's not for anything in particular, but still, teams were trying hard here, right? Atlanta FaZe, I'm sure they were going for the victory against Florida Mutineers, a team that kind of, well, had their number, to be honest, throughout the Call of Duty Modern Warfare season. Doesn't happen here, and as I was just about to look at, this came out in the preseason. I think Maven decided to put his curse on FaZe maybe, because he said they're just going to destroy everyone here in 2021, and no one is really going to stand a chance. And maybe that will still be the case. We're a couple of weeks away now from their own home series, and as Sim says in this tweet right here, look, big wake-up call this weekend, gotta be better. An amazing weekend of COD though, and well, obviously they do have the Atlanta home series starting February the 11th to kick off the entire season. So as I say, this series didn't matter too much, not for points or anything, but you've got to look at this series and say, well, Optic Chicago against Los Angeles Thieves, a team that a lot of people are putting pretty much on par with the Florida Mutineers right now. Optic just roll through them, and Atlanta FaZe, the team that on paper, okay, how can you upgrade off any of these players? You take FaZe's roster, who are you taking out and putting in that's better in that role than all of these players? It seemed to look perfect on paper, but clearly so far, they're not quite finding their form as you might have expected, right? And this time last season, as I said, FaZe were already considered one of the best teams in the game. Surely this team will get there at some points, but there really is a question mark about why aren't this team as good as maybe some of those other lineups, where on paper, it's pretty much impossible to upgrade on this team. So intrigued to hear your thoughts on that in the comment section below. Where do FaZe go from here? Do they turn it up quite significantly? They're playing, I believe, on February the 14th, the final match of that Sunday of that first week of the Call of Duty League Pro League for 2021. They're playing up against Optic Chicago in that final match. So that's going to be something to behold, and well, certainly a lot of work for these guys to do. But as I believe I said on the Breaking Point podcast, which is coming out later today, episode 2 of it, this is a perfect time to lose. If there's a time to get a wake-up call, as Simp said in that tweet, it is now, right? Lose in the preseason, say, okay, maybe we're a little bit too overconfident coming into the season. We don't quite perform so well up against these top teams, and then maybe we need to change our approach somewhat to become the best team in the game once again. But maybe that 4v4 switch is taking a little bit of time for these guys to adapt to going forwards. Also to mention this regarding the score streak situation, Scump explaining why score streaks weren't used this weekend, had a few questions around this. I believe they will be used in the main thing. Scump actually explains it was pretty much because in the CDL rules right now, it doesn't look like you can change the score, well, the score that it takes to get particular streaks, and the teams have determined the score numbers that they want to use for the streaks in the kind of gentleman's agreement rule set. So I believe the cruise missile or something and the artillery barrage, those are the two that are going to be used at certain score streak levels that the pros have decided. But for some reason this weekend, the rule set didn't allow that to be the case. So, well, they weren't used. But the streaks will be back for the main season. Definitely think that is a step in the right direction. I think there's a lot to be gained from streaks and pretty entertaining comebacks that can happen as a result. It also adds to the skill gap, I think, in getting streaks, because when you're getting streaks, you have to ask yourself the question, is it worth me hitting this hill and throwing my life away to get that trade with my team and get this time, or is it worth me playing slow, maybe giving up 10 seconds here in order to get a kill streak, which maybe will give us 30 seconds further down the line. So an interesting risk-reward kind of trade-off that happens when kill streaks are in the game. Happy to see them come back, and well, it seems like Scump says that is going to be the case.
Streaks yesterday, so apparently something in the rule set in CDL, I don't know if you can't, I think you can't set the amount of points that you unlock the streak at, or they insta-stack. I'm not sure. Something was messed up with the streaks, though. That's why I think we're planning on using them, but I think that they were messed up just for this weekend.
Couple of quick things to just finish off the video here. This is the Crone tweeted out yesterday. 2021 CDL season predictions. Champions, regular season MVP, rookie of the year, first on the regular season standings, last on the regular season standings, first 50 bomb, if that even is the case, right? I don't know if we're going to actually have one. It seems pretty tough to drop 50 in this game. We saw Dashy drop 67 eliminations yesterday in an 8s match, so maybe it is possible someone drops 50. I mean, they did last season a couple of times. Simp on Azir Cave, you guys might remember. First 1v4 Search and Destroy clutch. First S&D donut, that being well, 0 kills in Search and Destroy if you guys aren't aware. I think we had a breadstick, so breadstick is 1 kill in Search. I think Scraps had a breadstick this weekend up against the London Royal Ravens. But yeah, we had no donuts as yet. First team to bench someone as well. And with these new 14-day contracts, it seems that benching someone is actually very, very possible in this season and may well happen indeed. Also, BreakingPoint.gg going to do the awards for the 2021 season. Article here explaining exactly how that's going to be happening. And well, as Colin Knight says, going to be tough to award this, isn't it? Sniper of the Year. And well, as we talked about yesterday, hopefully snipers do come back into play. I think the flinch right now a bit of an issue. I think the fact that smokes are broken and therefore you can't use them to counter snipers, that's also a bit of an issue. But hopefully within a month or so we get snipers back into the game. It would be great to see, so we can actually answer the question as to who is the best sniper of 2021. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.